So, how's your day been?
I'm really sick of the snow.
I mean,
The cold.
we did get a little more snow. I mean, it was only, did we get more since the sun
I
went down?
mean, a dusting. Not
Oh,
enough
yeah,
to
okay.
matter. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like snow. I like winter. I like the cold.
Yeah, in
But
December.
yeah, I'm done with it right now.
That's all. I'm
Is that
crabby.
okay?
I'm
That's all
tired. I
that.
want to go to bed.
So that's our cold open. But welcome to Words Are Hard, a writing and editing podcast. I'm your host, Ramsey, the extrovert in charge of keeping the conversation flowing.
And I'm your other host, Rachel, editor, indie author, and English teacher.
Today's episode is all about tense and POV, which is point of view.
Good job.
So we're gonna get, I know what POV is. We're gonna get into that in just a minute, but a real quick one. So why don't we go through our fun fact of the day? Did you know, while it's difficult
It
to
would be
report
kind
on,
of fun one time to flip-flop these and do the main topic first and finish with trivia. It would
you
make no
want to do
sense,
that sometime?
organization-wise. That would not make sense. But
I mean, we can put the fun fact at the end of the episode. It doesn't generally doesn't have anything to do with,
right, but that's like
you know,
supposed to be the lead into the main topic.
you know how hard it is to find fun facts and trivias about the crap we talk about?
Everything we talk about is fun.
Okay. While it's difficult to report on every book ever sold, the Bible is touted as having more than 5 billion copies printed and distributed. Don, is it Quixote?
Quixote.
What?
Quixote.
Quixote. Oh, all right. Don Quixote is recognized as the most distributed fiction book, but again, the numbers aren't there to support the claim. The top verified book is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens with over 200 million copies sold.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Did have you read Don Quixote?
Quixote.
Yep.
I've read excerpts. I've
Okay.
also read excerpts in Spanish, which is the original language that it's written in, but it
Okay.
was written in like Spanish from the 1700s.
Oof. So it's like Old English, but
So it's
Old
like
Spanish.
super hard to understand.
Okay. And what about A Tale of Two Cities? Have you read that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah. Dickens is not my favorite. It's all right.
Okay.
I mean, like it's a classic of English literature or whatever, but
Sure.
I've
Okay.
also
Well,
read the entire Bible in case you were wondering.
I think I have two. Probably. I mean, we went to the same school.
No, I didn't, not in school. We haven't read it in school, all of it to get like I read it front to back, the full thing all at once.
Wow. Did you read it back to front?
I did not.
Oh, get on that.
Yep.
Okay. With that being said, let's move on to our main topic of the day. And again, we're talking about tense and POV. Um, I was going to crack a joke, but I can't remember it.
That's good.
uh,
That was funny. Good job.
yep. Okay. What do you got?
So there are obviously multiple tenses, but really only two of them that are actually written in present and past.
And in.
What?
Intense.
Like camping?
Yep. Okay. That was the joke before.
Was it?
Well, I'm sure listeners found it funny.
Sure.
Okay, so
So
past and present,
past and present.
or because you can't really write in future tense.
I mean, I'm sure someone's tried it. I don't imagine it would be very easy to read, but
And they will
sometimes
walk through the door next, and they will find a room full of people, and they will talk to them inside.
sometimes it's maybe a short story you could maintain that. I don't know. Sometimes it's fun to try things just to try things, and then you can set it aside and be like, "Yep, that sure was an exercise."
That didn't work.
That is a thing that is technically possible, but that doesn't always mean that you should do it.
Okay,
So
so past tense, I mean, we all understand what past tense is. Talking as a recollection of things from the past.
yes, the story has already taken place. It is finished.
And this is just a retelling of
This
it.
is a retelling of it.
Right. And then present tense makes sense. That's what's happening right now. And I would wager most books are written in present tense.
No,
Oh,
which I told you the last time you said that,
well then.
like 3 episodes ago. No, present tense, I mean, it's been around for a while. There are older books written in present tense, but it's kind of more of a more recent-ish trend.
Oh, okay. Well, every book that I've read has been in present tense.
A lot of young adult fiction lately has been in present tense, especially young adult fantasy, which is all that you've read
Well, no,
recently.
it's not all that I've read. I've read Louis
Recently.
L'Amour. I wouldn't even say recently.
Like the books that you have chosen to pick up on your own have been mostly young adult fantasy.
Okay, the last few times that I've read books actually probably would have been Louis L'Amour.
Okay, those are actually he does write some in present tense, but most of his are past.
Like Shane is.
Bane is not Louis L'Amour.
Oh no, it's not.
Off the top of my head, I don't. I would think that that's probably written in past, but I don't know for sure.
No, because it was written from the point of view of the boy.
Doesn't matter. Point of view and
Whatever.
tense are not the same thing.
As we sure will discuss, I'm sure.
Yep, that's the second half of this topic. Present tense is fun. I've written in both, and I like present tense because it makes the stakes a little bit more
Sure, because you don't necessarily know. Like if the main character is retelling the story, you know the main character made it out.
right. In past tense, everything is done. You know that they,
Right.
unless it's from a narrator who isn't a character. But yes, especially first person past, like the character is narrating. If it's past tense, they made it through. Present tense is a little, I mean, you probably still have a guarantee that your narrating main character is making it through the
Sure.
story, but there's a little bit more tension with the stakes of like, oh, this is happening right now, and how are they going to get out of it? Ooh.
Right.
Past tense, however, there's a little bit more of a, I'm going to say solid. That's not quite the word I want, but it gives the reader a little bit more of a structured feeling, I think.
Okay.
It's a little more familiar, it's a little more natural because the reader kind of expects that from the story, you know?
Okay.
So if you're not trying to do anything special with the narration, past can be helpful because it allows the reader to kind of settle into their expectations so that you can call attention to other things.
Okay.
So there's no right or wrong. You can do both, you can do either. There are books that switch back and forth, present and past tense.
Oh, sure. Like flashbacks.
Sure. Be careful how you do that. Make sure it's clear enough to the reader why you're doing it and when.
Mm-hmm.
But there's whatever serves your story best. Go ahead and do
So
that.
yeah. Okay.
Or whatever you like best. Tense is one of those things. There are some people who will only read past tense or only read present tense. I'm not one of those people. I don't care what tense the story is written in. If the story is interesting to me, I will read it. I don't care. That comes down to preference, both with the reader and the writer.
Sure. That makes sense.
So
Okay. So
follow your heart.
we have past and present. I mean, I don't really think there's much more we can hash out with that one. Those are pretty self-explanatory.
Hmm.
So move on to the point of view here, and those being first, second, and third point of view.
Hmm.
So first person, I mean, I know first person point of view. It's the person telling the story. It's as it's
The,
happening.
the character is narrating the story itself. You're using
Right.
pronouns like I and we and our.
hmm Okay. So then, describe to me what second and third is.
I'm going to jump to third because that's
Okay.
more
That's the other
common.
big one, right? It's either first or third person.
Yep. Third person would be there's a narrator that's telling what's happening to the character. It might be close third, where we're only getting the main character's thoughts and feelings. Like Percy Jackson is close, and now I'm blanking because Percy Jackson is third person, right? That's not first person. Oh no, that's what I was afraid of.
He doesn't know either.
No, it's depends on the book because I think he switches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rats. Anyway, so that wasn't a good example. Um, he, she, this person
Yeah.
did this. whatever.
you're it's just like speaking in third person where,
Right.
Ramsey is recording a podcast with his sister Rachel.
Yes. But again, there are different degrees of not different degrees of narration. So you can have close
Okay.
third where you're zooming way in on just a single character. You're only getting that character's
POV.
understanding and thoughts and whatever.
Right.
But then there's omniscient where you get everything from all of the characters. What
Okay.
tends to be tricky in third person narration for writers is the tendency to head hop.
To jump in between everybody's thoughts and
To if you have a point of view character.
hmm
So let's say Ramsey is my character.
good luck.
Ramsey is recording a podcast tonight. Rachel is getting pretty tired and she wants to go to bed. Ramsey's looking around the room looking thoughtful. So you're giving
Yeah.
if Ramsey is my point of view character, you don't know what I'm thinking and feeling.
Yeah, sure.
So that's head hopping. If you're including information that your main character, your point of view character has no way of knowing, that's not great.
Right.
Now, if you have
I
an
can see.
omniscient narrator who does know all of that, that's different.
Sure. Yeah, it would be confusing to keep jumping back and forth.
Yes, and this is something that a lot of writers struggle with.
Sure. A lot of new
Um,
writers, you're saying?
even experienced writers can have problems with this. But that's something that if you're writing in third person, you want to make sure you're even first person. You're being careful about, who is your point of view character? How
Hmm.
much information is the reader getting about them? And how much can they realistically know about the thoughts and motivations of the people around them?
Sure. Okay. So that's first, second, third. No, no, we didn't cover second.
That's first and third. Now let's
All
back
right.
up to second.
Let's back up to second.
Second is you. So this would be like a choose your own adventure story. You walk into the
Oh,
room,
sure.
you notice, blah, blah, blah.
So kind of like a Goosebumps.
Yes. The choose your own adventure goosebumps.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. There are a few. Choose
There
your
are a
own.
few, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Nailed it. I'm so good at this.
Good job. There's also you can have dual point of view or multiple points of view where you alternate, this section is focused on this character and then this next section, usually chapters, but not always,
Yeah.
is we're going to get this character's point of view. You can also flip-flop. There are books that have one character's point of view is in first person and then another character's is in third person. I don't
Okay.
personally like that most of the time, but again, that comes down to preference.
Sure.
There are other readers who do enjoy that. So,
Yeah. I think the Ranger's Apprentice series did jumping by character. Every chapter, I should say. I meant.
but that's all third person, right?
No, I think it's first person.
It is so it's multiple first persons, but different.
Yeah,
Oh,
every chapter changes
okay.
um
That's
a
that. Yeah,
first
that's what
person.
Mike is saying. I don't
Yeah,
have a
okay.
problem with that.
No, I like that
Like if
actually.
you have multiple firsts or multiple thirds, I'm all for that. I don't like when
Yeah.
it goes back and forth between first and third.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, it's all. But now your series that you're writing is
Yes,
first
mine does
person,
that. It's all first person,
but it's by book.
but it's by book.
Yeah. But so it's
Book is a
almost the
different.
same. No, it's not the same retelling. It's just the next
Yeah, it's the
adventure.
same story. It just continues and picks up. So book one ends, book two picks up that same afternoon, but from a different character's point of view.
Right.
And then book three picks up the next morning after book two ends
Hmm.
from a third character's point of view.
Right.
So the whole story continues, but we're
I
switching.
really like that. Like, I think that's a unique way of doing things.
I don't know that it's unique. I'm sure it's
Well, okay,
been
I'm
done
sure.
frequently, but
Then if you
but
want to
yes,
say that
I
nothing
like,
is unique, then
well,
because
nothing
everybody's
is
done
unique.
it. But
Your
I
your
think
spin on it is the unique part of it, how it's told, not what's told.
I like what
Um,
you're doing with it. I think it's cool.
yeah, I really like examining a story from different points of view and different angles. I think that's entertaining to me. And I always write what I want to read, and
Well,
everyone
and
else can either deal with it or not.
but like you're building a world through somebody's eyes and you're building a plot line and you're doing all this kind of stuff through somebody's eyes. And then that same world and that same plot line is continuing, but you're seeing it through someone else's eyes.
Hmm.
And I think that's super unique. I think that's really cool to do. Okay, fine, it's not unique, but I think it's a really cool concept
It's fun.
to get behind.
It is, yeah.
Because you get and as a writer, you get to play with how this other character is doing those same things.
Hmm. And how they're expressing things and what they're
Right.
noticing and their pre-existing thoughts and feelings about the situation and how that gets challenged by the events of the story. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. You could have been building a whole thing that this character inherently dislikes the whole time. And then you get into the next book and this other character likes it. And you've almost been trained to not like it for that first book. And now, in the
Okay, so
second one,
you're touching a little bit on unreliable narrators, which we should also, I'm going to write that down. We should do an episode about that.
I don't know what that
Um,
is.
an unreliable narrator is kind of just like what you were describing. So you have a character, the reader is getting the story through the lens of this
Uh-huh.
character,
Yeah.
and you can't always trust that character's perspective on things.
Because it's,
Either maybe that character is wrong about the
oh,
situation,
okay.
doesn't have
Okay.
all of the information. Maybe that character is outright lying to you, to the
Mm,
reader.
okay. So
Maybe the
almost like
character is
hero
delusional.
villain point of views.
Not necessarily.
Oh, that would be an interesting book. Like one chapter is the hero's point of view, the next chapter is the villain's point of view, and
Hmm.
they keep going back and forth. Hmm. Get on that.
Um, that's been done before.
Well, sure. Everything's been done. We've discussed this.
Hold on, I'm typing.
Oh,
Unreliable narrators. Okay.
yeah. Look at that. I talked about something I didn't even know.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm so proud.
But yeah, so my next bullet point here is how do you pick your tense and your point of view?
Well, I would imagine it probably boils down to some genre.
Some of it is genre expectations. Yep.
Yeah.
Like I said before, young adult fantasy, a lot of that is in present tense. Does it have to
Mhm.
be? No, of course not.
Sure.
Are some readers kind of expecting it to be? Yeah,
Sure.
maybe.
Well, and it may be is not insulting as I can sound. It may be at their intellectual level. Like young adult readers need something a little bit more basic,
I
versus
don't see, I don't think present tense is basic. I think it's actually harder
oh,
to write present tense well.
okay, not from a writing standpoint, from a reading
Even,
comprehending.
yeah, there's really not a difference,
Oh, okay.
comprehension wise. It's the only thing that changes is the tense of the verbs. Everything else is pretty much the same. Sorry, you're wrong with that.
All right. Batting 50-50 here.
I mean, yeah,
Your genre has a little bit to do with it.
it has a
What are
little
the
bit to
other?
do with it.
Fiction,
Really?
nonfiction?
Well, nonfiction is
Is
different.
it,
There
it's
are,
its own writing style?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna stop talking and let you go.
My answer here to how to pick is vibes. You go with what the story
So
needs.
what you're telling me is it depends.
It depends. It always depends.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, there are some stories that just make more sense in past tense,
Sure.
so you tell it in past tense. There are some stories that make more sense in first person, so that's what you go with. There are some stories where it really doesn't matter, so you go with whatever you want to do.
So the title of this episode should have not been Tense and POV. It should be Do Whatever the Hell You
Do what
Want.
you want. Do what you want. Measure
Okay.
with
So
your heart.
oh,
There are sometimes, though, I've had this happen where I start a story in a certain tense or a certain point of view, and I get partway through, or all the way through, which sucks. And then you realize, no, this really needs this needs to be in third person. I wrote it in first, but it really needs to be in third.
oh
Or,
my
okay, I
God,
wrote
that
it
would
in
suck.
third. It does. It sucks. It's the worst. I wrote it in third, but it doesn't feel close enough. I feel like it needs to be first. Yeah, and it's not great, but you do what you need to do for the story. And if that means changing the point of view,
So is that something an editor can do or
an
would
editor
do?
can help, yes, with saying this
No, no, I'm
really,
saying make those changes for you.
That would almost be more like ghostwriting.
I don't know what that is.
That's where you pay someone to write your story for you.
Ah, okay. So no, an editor doesn't do that.
I would not, that's no, that wouldn't fall under the scope of normal editing.
Okay.
I mean, you might find an editor who's willing to do it for you because it's also individual, but
Sure.
I'm not going to do
But not
that. So
generally. Okay.
don't ask me to do
Okay. So
that.
you are going to say, you know what? I think this feels better written in first tense, and you're going to give it back to them. And they're going to say, pound sand, I'm going to find a different editor. Or, oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm going to make the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So do whatever the hell you want or whatever your editor tells you
I,
or suggests to you.
suggests take if you trust your editor and you're paying them to know how to tell the story,
Right.
to help you tell your story,
Right. Okay.
then yeah, hopefully you can take their suggestions, but if not, maybe find a different editor.
Mm. Or, yeah, okay. I'll just leave that alone. Okay. So, I mean, that's kind
There
of
you
it.
get a feel for this by reading. Okay,
And
read lots
you
of
said that,
stories. It is, but that's
yeah,
how you get a feel for how stories work and what works
yeah.
best for each story. Read books in multiple points of view. Read books in both past and present
Hmm.
because that will give you an understanding of the structure of the story and the best way to tell that story. Because yes, there is a best way, but it's so individualized to each story that you're the only one that can make, you're not the only one. You are the best one to make that decision.
Okay.
So
Okay. Follow your heart.
whatever decision you make, stick with it. If you get to the end and decide you need to change it, okay.
Sure.
That happens a lot,
Sure.
but sometimes you can only figure that out by doing it.
Okay. All right. I guess with that, let's move on to our word of the day.
I'm
And
changing the word of the day because you mentioned Don Quixote.
oh, I like this word of the day, though.
Yeah, we'll do this next week.
Okay,
I'll
fine.
just push it off. Um,
Suspense. Dun dun dun.
dun, dun, dun. So the word
Tune
that I'm
in.
skipping to,
Tune in next week to find out what this week's word of the day was going to be.
the word I'm skipping to is quixotic.
Quixotic.
Quixotic,
Okay, what
which comes
is?
from Quixote.
Oh God. Did you just do this off the top of your head? Like,
I I know this word, and because he mentioned Don Quixote, I said, "Oh, hey, we should do quixotic." Yes, because I love this word.
okay, quixotic.
Quixotic
It's
means
it's one word.
yes, it's
Okay.
Quixote, right? Quixot, but then IC instead of the E. And
So
then
so it's Quixote, but it's spelt or
but you're
it's
you're taking it's the English pronunciation of
okay,
what this
quixotic.
word looks like.
Okay.
Yes. So quixotic, it's an adjective. It's used to describe people or situations, meaning extravagantly chivalrous, absurdly romantic, or
Oh,
striving for an unattainable or impractical ideal. Do you know the story of Don Quixote?
not at all.
Okay. Um, okay.
We don't have enough time.
There's
So
there's the
it's
okay, so the actual plot of Don Quixote, because there's a whole bunch of like political and historical and cultural elements that go into this, but the plot itself, the character Don Quixote is kind of envisions himself like a medieval knight, like a chivalrous knight of the Round
okay.
Table, and he's riding through the Spanish countryside, tilting with his lance at windmills.
Oh, that's that.
That's that.
I've seen like
Yes, because
representations of that.
this is a very famous thing. So then quixotic would be a person who acts like Don Quixote.
Okay. You had said boldly romantic or extremely romantic or
Absurdly
absurdly
romantic.
romantic. Is
Yes,
that a little
because
like Casanova?
no, the whole point of this novel is that it's satire.
Oh,
So like you are supposed to, the reader is supposed to look at Don Quixote and be like, look at him, he's being ridiculous.
okay.
But he is like 100%,
Sure.
what's the
He's
word I'm
into
looking
it.
for?
He
He's
believes in
into
it.
it. He believes
Yeah,
it. He's genuine. Like he
sure.
thinks that he is honestly saving the countryside from these horrible, horrible monsters. But the reader is like, dude, that's a windmill.
Hmm. Okay.
So
So,
that's what quixotic means. Kind of like
quixotic.
over the top, you know.
Okay. All right. If you enjoyed the show today, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Share with your friends or someone who needs to learn some grammar. You can also sign up for Rachel's newsletter editing newsletter at rosedeanediting.com. That's ROSEDENE editing.com to get your free 7 steps to line editing checklist.
I think from now on you should try to work the word of the day into the
Nope.
to the ending. I think that would be super fun.
If you enjoyed Quixotic and the show today,
No,
make sure
that
to subscribe.
I'm
Say
also
your line.
offering a free first page edit through my line edits and action series. You can sign up on my website and you'll be entered into a weekly drawing for a free line edit of your opening page.
And join us next week as we dive into commonly misspelled words like quixotic. Quixotic.
Quixotic is look it's spelled exactly the way you think it's spelled. Okay.
Quixotic.
It's spelled exactly the way you think it's spelled if you know about Don Quixote.
Okay, so then no, it's not. All right. We're diving into commonly misspelled words. Remember, words are hard.
We're here to help.
All right.
Got an
There you
X.
go. Well, you said it spells like it sounds.
It
It's
is with an X.
quixotic.
That makes an X sound.
Quick, quick. Unless we're talking quick trip, then it's KWI.
No, we're not getting into that. I love Quick Trip. I cannot stand its spelling.
No, that's all you need.
I really like their breakfast pizza though.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Mhm.